Okay, I said it not that long ago. We are now in the throes of excitement for Transformers The Last Night, and what better way to celebrate than to look at one of the Wave 2 Deluxes. This is Sqweeks. Sqweeks. And apparently he's a deluxe. I don't know if I really agree with that. I don't really know what to make of this hodgepodge mess of a Transformer, but I do know that as of this recording, we are a day before the full release. There have been some of the preview showings and whatnot. By the time you see this, the movie will probably already be out, but whatever. I'm going to celebrate this time in the franchise by looking at this guy. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. I don't know what to make of this guy, and you're celebrating the movie, which probably won't be very good. Maybe we'll be surprised and it will be the best one yet. I'm probably actually going to do a reaction to that one. I haven't done a GotBot Goes to the Movies in a long time. I am excited about it just because I like big robots that fight each other. But for now, let's focus on the topic at hand, and that is going to be this guy. So stick around. We're going to discuss everything to do with Sqweeks in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. I am humbled that you are here. Please like, comment, subscribe, check me out everywhere. Have a look at Universal Collision, my stop motion series. Season 1 is up now. Check out Machinery Man, the Everything Factor, and check me out everywhere. Okay, so this is the box, and we have Sqweeks down here with his gigantic guns, I'm going to say. It says that he's an Autobot amigo. Apparently he's an amigo. I guess that's great that he's a friend of the Autobots, but is he actually a full-fledged Autobot? Here's the back. We see product shots as we normally do. He's odd. It says 3 modes. I don't know if this is really a mode though, but we're going to talk about it, and there you go. So there's the box for you, and he comes with, of course, an instruction manual. It's okay. It's nothing to write home about. It's not that great, but we're going to lay that aside, and I'm going to bring in this weird little monstrosity, and I'm going to bring in this thing. He comes with this little monstrosity. It's his arm, and this, which is his blaster. We're going to try and see these a bit closer. I'm going to readjust the camera, and then we'll start taking a closer look at this guy. Okay, so this is Sqweeks, and he comes with this little arm thing. It will be his arm. It's molded nicely. We'll see it more on him. It's a lot of detail on it. It's just kind of painted in a gunmetal grade. There's a 5mm peg right here, and that 5mm peg will go into his arm when we get to it. Same with his, well, his gun is actually twofold. It has a 5mm peg down bottom, but it also has one in right, let's see if I can show it, in right here where my thumb is. Oh, you didn't even see that. In right there where my thumb is. Maybe you can see it right there. Hopefully. So we're going to take that out of it. And he comes in 2 parts, with his trailer and then him. So we're going to take his trailer out of it as well for now, and we're just going to focus on this little guy. This is how he comes in package. I'll say this. For coloration, a lot of people have compared the rust on him to other less pleasant toilet things. I get it. I understand why. But now mine actually, to me, seems rust-ish. It doesn't particularly look it on camera, but in hand, it does kind of have a rust quality to it. That being said, the application of rust, not so much to the trailer, but to the bot itself, seems to vary from, you know, version to version. And I looked through several on the shelves because, come on, the guy's $30 Canadian. It's not like he's selling, right? You know, let's be realistic. Until this goes on sale, that's a ridiculous price to ask for this. And that's the truth. So I went through a few on the pegs, and I found this one that I felt like had decent application of it. And I laughed when I mentioned the price because I'm going to do some comparisons here. Remember, this is a deluxe. Deluxe. Well, you know what? That being the case, here he is with Berserker. And Berserker's not even on the screen completely. Here he is with Berserker, who I looked at in episode 260. He doesn't need to be on the screen completely. Here he is with Barricade, who is not a large deluxe. Here he is with Barricade, who I looked at in episode 261. You know, here he is, and I kind of talked about this guy, and I'm actually going to back the camera up a bit here. Here he is with the Age of Extinction Drift. Maybe I need to back it up even more. Here he is with the Age of Extinction Drift. I already talked about this guy during the look that I did at Steelbane. I looked at this drift in full in episode 60 a long time ago. I'll say this, I think the new one is better. There's a little section on this guy that bends behind his leg. The new one doesn't have that. The Mercedes, I think, is a nice looking car. I love the black and red. I like that the chest no longer needs to flip up. And I like that the whole backpack here no longer needs to go turned around. I feel like they took cues from problems with this version and improved it for the Last Night incarnation. So I doubt I'll be looking at the new Drift. You know, here's Sqweeks with my custom Age of Extinction Slug. Again, Slug is out now in Wave 2. I'm not going to buy him again because what's the point? I would just end up repainting him very similar to this anyway. You can check out my thoughts on this guy in full in episode 68 a long time ago. Now, the only thing people do mention is a lot of people wonder how I got his swords in his legs. They're in a space behind his leg. So, you kind of got that going for you. You know, here he is with something more current. Steelbane. I'm sorry, but Steelbane is a deluxe. Sqweeks is not the size of a deluxe. Now, I know what you're going to say, but he got that trailer thing, and you're right. You're right. So the reason he is at a deluxe price point is because of the amount of plastic used, not because of his stature. So there's your justification for that price point. And hey, just for fun, though he's in truck mode, here he is with Optimus, and I looked at the Last Night Optimus Prime in episode 272. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of comparisons. Paint apps for this guy, I see what they're going for. I do, based on the stills and whatnot that I've seen, I get it. And let's bring this back in. I get it. I understand what they're going for. I'm going to give his paint apps about an 8.5. I think that they're pretty accurate to it. Now, that's not saying that this should even be a figure or a character, but it's about an 8.5 for what it is. Articulation is the next thing. Well, I can tell you this. He does roll like a champ, and his trailer rolls like a champ in vehicle mode. In robot mode, this guy's articulation is a bit different from what we normally see. First, these things, tires can roll out, fold out to the side and fold in. Because he doesn't really have legs, he doesn't have knees or ankles or anything, and you know, he rolls okay there. He's sort of thick, so that's why he's able to sort of sit. It does help if you put down his kind of kickstand thing here in the back. That really helps. His head can go up, and it can go down, and it can go left and right. Actually, it can go all the way around. He can even, you know, tip his hat to you, I guess. The terrible little arms are on ratchets that can go all the way around. His arms can go all the way around. They can go out to the side. There is no elbow or anything like that. And you can understand it as long as you have these handlebars in where his arms should be. Now, what I find idiotic with that is that he also has 2 handlebars here. So why does the guy have 4 handlebars? That is where, however, the other accessories come in. And you got really, I guess, 2 things that you could do with the other accessories. One is removing one of those and taking this arm piece and, if I can plug it in, if it wants to work with me here to plug it in. Maybe that's a 3mm peg. I said 5mm, but that might be my mistake, and I'm sorry. You can give him this great big arm on this side, and he should be able to hold his blaster. But I'm going to tell you now, because the blaster is soft rubbery plastic, the arm is soft rubbery plastic, he doesn't hold it very well, and even when he does, it really kind of pulls him forward. He can't support the weight. But that being said, that's not entirely the intention of it, I don't think. So we put that arm down to the side, like that. Okay? And we have another handlebar on the other side. Well, you can remove this handlebar as well. And when you remove that one, you can take the other post that I said, that must be 3mm. I think that this is actually a 3mm post. And you can take that one and you can, I'll put this out. Peg that one in on the side, and now he has a great big hefty arm and a blaster arm. They're okay, but they aren't super duper secure because they're soft rubbery plastic. And of course, he still wants to go forward because of the weight. So, what do you do about that? Because, you know, doesn't that seem like a shame? Well, you know what you do? You give him a bigger backpack, basically. What you're going to do is you're going to take this thing and you're going to open it up like that, and there's a, when you open it up, there's a little gray, let's see if I can show it, there's a little gray section in right there, a little gray rectangular tab basically, and you come to the back of this guy and there's a hole here behind his head, and you take that rectangular tab. The idea is you take that rectangular tab, you put it down in the hole, and there you go. Back this up a little bit so we can see him. That's him basically all armed up. Okay, it's all right. I mean, he has now missiles over the top, and he has a great big gun there. Of course, he's this thick. Ooh, and he just fell over and that came out. So that's wonderful. Let's try this again. He's now this thick. I mean, okay, I guess. The articulation for this guy is so weird. There's so many options. He's ugly and adorable all at the same time. Adorable? I don't know if that's a word. But you look at him and you get this idea that he's cobbled together from junk. But at the same time, I think because of his kind of big goggle eyes, there's something that's sort of cute, adorable about him. Taking that out of it and taking this off and taking this off. I'm going to lay that to the side, and I'm even going to lay this to the side for now. So our articulation, just looking at this guy, makes me think, hey, it's maybe a 5. He doesn't do a whole lot. It's maybe a 5, maybe a 6. Let's say 6. But if we take this guy out of it and bring this thing in, well, now all of a sudden things get more interesting. Much more interesting. We can open out those 2 sections. We can lift up these and bring them back, and then we can fold the sides down and fold the front down. And now we have this whole other section. You could straighten these back if you want. That's an option. But the idea is that they're up like this. And here we have like a tool chest type of thing. There's nothing in it right now. But hey, isn't that a beautiful spot to store that arm? And while we're at it, let's take those 2 little handlebar pieces and we can probably throw them in there too. I think it all went in there. And close it up. Kind of close it up. You can close it up if you fit it in there better. This arm can come up and it moves at a hinge right here like an elbow. And it also swings around and it moves at another hinge down here. And it even got a piece in the back here that moves that I don't know why this would move, but hey, whatever. So it's supposed to serve like a repair bay type of thing. And of course you could, you know, take Sqweeks and place him in there if you really want. You can also place him in there in his little vehicle mode. So I think that that's versatile and great. So it pops his articulation. Because of this, it actually pops his articulation up from a 6 to about a 7.5. So we have an 8.5 and a 7.5. This guy is an 8. Now, before I go into full transformation, I just want to point something out that I saw. I saw a picture. And I've seen it in a few locations, so I don't really know who to credit for it or anything like that, because I've seen it now in about 4 or 5 locations. That's a fan mode that I can't quite figure out, and if you can, hey, let me know. Here's what you do though, basically. You straighten out that much and you stand it up. You bring this piece down over the front, and it looks like this trailer hitch piece goes back on the back. You put this arm out to the side. Maybe I should try and fit these in here better now. So bear with me. You put these out to the side like that. You take this and you bring it down. So now it works sort of like an arm. You flip this piece in and you flip this piece in. And you take his little blaster, and using one of those 5mm or using the 5mm peg, you put it in down here. Now that is an entire body. Let me back this up a bit. That is an entire body. Now there is some way, obviously, that I have not yet been able to figure out. If somebody knows, please tell me, where you can fit Sqweeks on from behind and give him a big body. Now it's not the most posable thing in the world. These legs and like these feet are basically, pardon me, these feet are basically pegged together, and the legs, I mean, can't support much weight. But it looks really cool. So if somebody actually knows how that works, I'd love to hear from you. That would be fantastic. Okay, so putting this back in its stock mode. Like this. basically. Again, if we had Sqweeks in his little vehicle mode, he could roll down this ramp. It's a cute idea. Now we're going to get into the transformation, and doing this of course is easy because I've already kind of exploded it apart to get it to this point. So this is easy. We put the arm down, we back these up, we fold these two sections in. We put this, actually we put this section up before we fold these in because there's a little, I should point this out, there's a little tab. There's a little tab here and a little tab over here, and it goes into a slot here and a slot here. So this comes up and then these slot in over the tabs on the side. Then you bring the top down and you push those little pieces in and you bring this little hook piece out. And there you go, we have a trailer once again. We're going to take this and we're going to lay it aside for now. And actually it looks like I need to take a second here. Okay, and let's bring in this weird little oddity of a transformer again. Okay, so if you've been keeping score, like I said, he was getting a 7.5 and an 8.5. He's scoring an 8. Let's see how the transformation affects him. We've already done the trailer, so let's look at the main body, let's say. You begin, well, how exactly? Lift up the head is probably the best thing to do. And these handlebars here have headlights that are down into a groove there. So basically you're unaccordioning the entire body. You turn around the eyes, headlights. You take this chest piece here and you flip it all the way around and you push it back in. You take his little stumpy arms and you put them out behind him and then you push those down. We're doing okay so far. Now you straighten out the body and basically this whole section here kind of slots in right there. It doesn't really tab per se, but it just sort of goes in loosely. And you can see where this is headed to now. The head. Okay, so we have it flipped back. So let's try and deal with this head first. You have to flip the whole helmet section back, and then the little goggles, they flip back. Not the whole eyes, but the little goggles flip back. And they go into the helmet. You leave the little eyes out. You turn the head to the side. You bring it all the way in on this gray hinge and push it down right into the body. And then this whole thing squeezes down in there. Now, you straighten out that tire and you straighten out that tire. This is the front one. You could sort of probably tell by the wheel well that's on it, to be honest with you. I sort of was able to guess it. You bring that around, you straighten up that front tire and peg it in, and there is a little peg here and a little hole up there. So the tires do, or at least the axle I guess, does peg in. That pegs in and boom, there you go. His kickstand is what holds him up. Now if you wanted added stability, say you didn't want to keep the kickstand down, oh, by the way, this little blue piece here should also flip down on the back and we have a little scooter. Now, that being said, if you wanted more stability or you didn't want to keep that little kickstand down, you can lift out that blue piece that I just pushed down again. And there's a little ball joint opening there. And there's a little ball joint connector on the trailer. And you basically connect both pieces together. It's pretty hard to do though, to be honest with you. Or at least I find it pretty hard to do. Why weren't the joints of steel bane this tight? And now you can see that I got them together finally. I guess I can flip that up. And now he will stay, you know, stood up without his kickstand. He still rolls like a champion. Scale-wise, this is a little scooter. Here he is. Here he is next to Dinobot. So, you know, dinosaur, scooter. Yeah, that makes perfect sense right there. You know, and here he is next to a transport being Optimus. Yeah, so of course a person would sit up on this scooter and be the height of a transport. That makes perfect sense. Of course, the length of him would be longer, or just as long, pretty much, as a transport. Yeah. So scale, I mean, you got to suspend that because he's not going to scale with your other vehicles. I think, though, that the intention for this guy is to display him in robot mode. To play with them? He's really fun like this, to be honest with you. The transformation isn't too bad. You do have to fiddle with the head a little bit. I'm going to give the transformation... I could see kids getting a little frustrated with it. I'm going to give the transformation a 7. Overall, this guy was an 8. I gave it a 7. This guy's a 7.5. He is definitely not worth the full price of admission. He is definitely not one that has to be in your collection. But if you want a Transformer that is cute, quirky, and most importantly, transforms into something completely different than what we usually get, Sqweeks might just be the guy for you. I wasn't really in for this guy, and honestly, I wasn't in for this guy even after I obtained him. When I bought him, I still didn't really want him. But the more I fiddled with him, the guy's kind of grown on me a bit. That being said, I gotta believe he's gonna be really annoying in the film. And I gotta believe that somewhere, at some point, he's gonna fall in the list of top 10 most annoying Transformers of all time. But that's just my opinion. Who knows? Maybe he'll be super cool. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's all I got to say about this guy. Thanks for dropping by. Thank you very much for giving me some of your valuable time. And I look forward to the next time that you and I have a visit right here inside the video.